Hey, my name is Kathina and this is video 2 in where I talk about my books the books that I read in May. I'm wearing the same shirt because I'm filming some of these videos back to back. I said that in my previous video, but in case you haven't seen that one, and I have no other clothing here in this space at the moment. So now these next 9 that I want to talk about in this video are all library loans by Stilton, either Geronimo Stilton or Thea Stilton. I'm going to put them down now because they're quite heavy, but I have read quite a few of the Stilton books. There are a lot of them. My library classes most of them in the B category, which is 8 to 12-year-olds. They are originally Italian. A lot of them have been translated into Dutch, English and other languages. I have quite a few of Stilton books, but not all of them. There are a lot of them, like I said. And I like to read them from the library when I find them as well. So I've read quite a few of them from the library and then later on bought my copy. Anyway, we're just going to talk about these ones now. The first one is To the Kraan dicht, Geronimo. And this is part of the Knagers voor Klimaat series. Although I have noticed that some of these series, when they translate it, like maybe different ones in the original or in the English. So yeah, anyway, this is what it is in the Dutch. And this is about Geronimo and on his family's farm, and that's actually the first time since I've been reading a lot of these books that came up. So I assume that was maybe made up for this series or something. But anyway, well, in this specific adventure, the water at their farm like stops coming out of the tap, sort of thing. So they try to think of ways to save water as well as solve the kind of mystery with how this can be happening. So this is basically this series. So Klimaat is like climate. So this series tries to teach children more about what they can do to help with the environment and climate change and stuff like that. I'll just show you a few like pictures and pages. So the book has illustrations, and this particular one is also educational for children about how they can use less water, that kind of thing. And yeah, I found it enjoyable. So this book in Italian is called Chiudi il Ribunetto Stilton, and I apologize because I don't really speak Italian. So the next one is called bloedstollende middernacht by Geronimo Stilton, and this is book 81 in the Dutch Geronimo Stilton series. And I say that because the number could be different in the original and the English. And this book involves, I shall say the Italian title, Mezzanotte da brivido a Castelteschio. That was probably not properly pronounced. But this book is about Geronimo and I don't know what she is called, something different in English. But some books in this series, as you can see, this is not even all of them. Like, as you can see here, it mentions number 1 and then some of the later ones. There are over 200 books by Geronimo Stilton and or Thea Stilton. So, but anyway, I've talked about Stilton before on my channel. It goes on. Well, this particular one is about a secret in Duifje's family. Let's see if I can find a picture of her. So our main character is Geronimo Stilton, and this book is then, here is Duifje Duistermuis, but in English she has a different name, and I'm sure as well in the original Italian. Well, this book is about a secret in Duifje's family, about a kind of a secret that was left by one of her ancestors. Yeah, and this was again an enjoyable read. Then we have Onderwaterpiraten. This is book 86 in the Dutch Geronimo Stilton series, although online, at least in English, it says this book something in the Space Mice series, but in Dutch that's not a separate series. They're, I think, made in with the original, but then this is the first one of the Space Mice I think I've read. So yeah, I have read a lot of the earlier ones in the like standard Geronimo Stilton series, but not as many of the later ones, although there are still some earlier ones that I haven't read, mostly because my library doesn't have them. But yeah, anyway, in this one we don't have just Geronimo Stilton, but we have like a futuristic, yeah, the space. I filled the back spool slightly too much in later in the book, but basically they find a, I think, is this it? A mysterious orb in the sand. I'd say the sand in their spaceship. Anyway, this was another enjoyable book. I didn't say the original Italian title for this. It is Il mistero del pianeta sommerso. I keep forgetting to say the original titles, I'm sorry. So the next book I read is called The Choco Cup by Thea Stilton. This is in Dutch, book 20 in Thea Sisters, but I think in English on Goodreads this is book 19. So yeah, that just changes a bit depending on if they decide to not translate certain ones or translate certain ones, or anyway, I don't know what it is in the original Italian. In the original Italian, this is una cascata di cioccolato, and again, pronunciation is probably not the best, so I'm sorry about that, but I did want to tell you the original title. I don't know if all of these have English translation, but anyway, so this is book, in Dutch at least, book 20 in the Thea Sisters series. In this one they go to Ecuador. Is that the same in English? Here are the 5 Thea Sisters. They go to what's called in Dutch Choco, which is a chocolate factory of an old friend of Paulina, who is one of the 5 sisters. Although their names are probably different in English or in the original Italian. Anyway, and this was another enjoyable book to me, and you also learn a bit about chocolate and other things. Well, I enjoyed it. The next one is Midzomernachtdroom by Thea Stilton and William Shakespeare. Well, and it's more common, but so this is like a Stilton retelling of the original English A Midsummer Night's Dream, but this has been translated from Italian, and in Italian it's Sogno di una notte di Mezza estate. That was a very bad pronunciation. Now I have not read the original Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare, so I will say that. So Stilton, mostly Geronimo Stilton, also Thea Stilton, they have done retellings of classics. Here are some of them. And I've had quite a few of these. Usually again, this is for 8 to 12-year-olds. So I haven't read the original, so I don't know how this compares. This is more of a play. Well, it's William Shakespeare, so it was meant as a play. But because of that, you have other than like some descriptive things of what is happening, all the dialogue is done kind of like that. I don't know if you can see that. But it's got like, I don't know how you say this in English. Is it like first act, scene 2, or, but I don't know how you say that in English exactly. So I thought this was nice. I haven't read the original, but it was a nice read. I did find there were quite a few characters to keep track of. So, because you have like kind of 3 groups of people that interact, but I'm sure that's similar to the original. The original probably more complicated. So yeah, this was a nice read, but I don't know how it compares to the original. I've read quite a few of the Stilton like literature retellings, often not having read the original because classics aren't really my thing. I have read the original in some cases, yeah. But moving on. Then we have, by Geronimo Stilton, Fantasia 15, or XV, Het leger der Onzichtbaren, which means something like the army of invisibles. That's probably not really how it should be translated. The invisible army, I guess, but so in Italian, L'impero della Fantasia. So this is book 15 in the Fantasia series, although in Dutch I say Fantasia, but I presume in English you say Fantasia. So I have not read books 13 and 14 yet, but they had this one available, so I want to read them. It's not necessary that you read them in order. Generally, I have read 1 through 12, which I also own, but anyway, I don't have this one yet. I don't have 13 and 14 either, but they didn't have 13 and 14, they had this one, so yeah, anyway, I found this another enjoyable read, just like the other Fantasia books that I've read, although I think I read almost all of them before I started my channel and made videos, but so in this book, Geronimo Stilton travels through Fantasia. He's been called there by Farina de Fleur, who is the fairy queen of Fantasia. We have met her before in previous books, to help, because I don't know the empire is correct, but the Fantasia kingdom, although kingdom implies a king, but yeah, the Fantasia world is in danger. Also, this book is supposed to have 3D glasses, but since it's a library book, I presume either they just took those out or somebody else took them out and kept them, like a patron sort of thing. I don't know. I don't know if they just took them out for like security reasons. So, but when you buy your own copy, obviously you would get these. Anyway, this was an enjoyable fantasy adventure. Yeah, I enjoy all the Fantasia books, so yeah. This one was a bit shorter than most of the other ones. Normally, like at the end, after the story is over, there are like some extra pages written by certain side characters and stuff. This book didn't have that, or at least this copy didn't, but I'm fairly sure that they didn't rip any pages out or anything. So it's a little bit shorter than normal, even though it's still 320-ish pages. So, but yeah, all the other ones are 384 from what I remember. Anyway, I found this a very enjoyable read, which is no surprise. And then the last 3 are these 3, and they are called Aelin, or in Italian this is called Astrid, which is book 1. So these 3 are a series. In Dutch it's called Prinsessen van de Dageraad, and in Italian this is called, oh, it doesn't say here. It doesn't say in here either, but I'm pretty sure it was like the series name in Italian. I'm pretty sure it was Principessa di, and then something, because that's princess in Italian. Alba or something. So this is book 1, and then we have Nemes, which is book 2, which is the same name in Italian, and then we have book 3, which is called Sybil, which is the same Italian. And when I borrowed these, and I'm glad I found all 3 of them, I wasn't sure if there was going to be more in the series, because so earlier books that are, well, related to this is Prinsessen van Fantasia, which is like the princesses of Fantasia, and you have 6 there, which are about the 6 princesses of the different kingdoms. And then we have Heksen van Fantasia, or the witches of Fantasia, which is 7, and this kind of follows on from that one. I've read all of these and really enjoyed them. So these 3 that I read now are about the descendants of these original princesses. So these books they don't have quite as many illustrations. They're not in like full color spread. They have more text. But they take place in the Kingdom of Fantasia. Geronimo Stilton has written some like these as well. but they're not about Stilton himself or Thea Stilton, but they are about some characters. But it doesn't say in here what those are, but I have read those as well. They've also written some with Geronimo and Thea Stilton. I read those as well, but anyway, so these 3. I wasn't sure if there was going to be more than 3 because so this book is about also some princesses. I thought there might be more because there's more than 3 princesses. So like the first series that I mentioned, they had more books, if you can see. So, and they had like 1 book for each person, I guess. But these 3 seem to conclude, that's not quite the right order, seem to conclude pretty well. So if this is the end, I can totally believe that. I'm glad they didn't end on a cliffhanger or something like that. I really enjoyed these. So in this book we begin with Aileen, who finds out she is a descendant of one of the original princesses that I mentioned, and in order to save the Fantasia, and I know that empire is the right word, but the Fantasia world, she has to go and find the descendants of the other princesses, and then together they have to save the Fantasia world from the evil sorcerer, who is called Evil, I think, in Dutch. Oh, we're having like a battery. Okay, so I've put a new battery in the camera, and I will charge the other one up. I hope we're in about a similar position. The tripod hasn't moved, but I have, so I can't quite remember where I was at with these 3. So, because I got distracted by the empty battery. But yeah, I really enjoyed these. I'm glad I could read them one after the other. I think I was telling you what it was about. Did I say that already? I'm sorry. I just found these really enjoyable. And so yeah, all of these Stiltons were nice or really enjoyable. So I tend to like the longer ones more than the shorter ones. So especially like these 4 and the Choco Cup I liked a lot. Yeah, and these are just fun, quick reads. Yeah, and I enjoy them. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!